Hi guys, welcome back to Manga Mono. Anime starts with a defeated elf warrior named Chloe being brought down on her knees before mercenary General Vault. Chloe is appalled that Vault has dared to betray them and now sits on the throne of his previous master. Chloe tells Vault that he won't get away with what he's done. Vault simply chuckles at her, saying he finds her spirit amusing. He then tells Chloe that he has no choice but to intervene because Chloe and her queen are depriving themselves of the proper nutrition they need. Suddenly, a group of ogres appear from behind, all looking eagerly at Chloe. Vault then tells her that the ogres have long wanted to help the elves switch to the carnivore diet. Chloe can only look in fear, knowing that another one of their servants has abandoned their plant-based diet and that they are planning to make her convert. Vault's wizard sidekick says they had an easier time with their uprising because the ogres sided with them. Vault then tells the ogres that the honor of introducing Chloe to the carnivore diet will be their reward. Chloe tries to protest and say that Vault can't do that, but it's too late. The elf can only look in fear as the ogres prepare the varied protein-filled meals they are about to feed her. Vault laughs and says Chloe shouldn't worry because she'll feel better and thank him at the end of the day. He also tells her all the ingredients they're using are locally sourced and organic. He also says the recipes they used have been approved by Joe Rogan himself. With Vault's command, the ogres begin their feeding program. Chloe immediately complains there's no way someone like her can handle the portions they're serving. However, the ogres don't listen and start stuffing her with their protein-heavy meals, because they know she desperately needs them. Chloe starts foaming from her mouth as her stomach, which is used to the plant-based diet, tries to reject the carnivore meals she is being fed with. However, the ogres are determined to save her from malnutrition and continue with their feeding program. As the Dark Queen's most trusted subject, Chloe can do nothing else but close her eyes and try her best to weather the storm, hoping to resist the urge to abandon her plant-based diet. Much to her surprise, her body quickly started adjusting to the diet shift. She is already starting to feel the mood-boosting effects of eating red meat. Not long after that, she finds herself enjoying the meals the ogres take turns serving her. In the dungeons below, another elf named Olga sits in one of the cells. She telepathically hears Chloe slowly surrendering to the carnivore diet and feels sorry for her. Shortly after, Vaultsmen arrive to take Olga to the throne room, eager to save another elf suffering from malnutrition because of their plant-based diet. They tell her to get out, and the proud elf simply stays silent as she stands up to follow the orders of the soldiers who used to be their servants. In the throne room, the ogres continue introducing Chloe to various carnivore diet meals. They've even introduced her to the highly regarded spit roasting technique, which leaves her mind blown. After that, Chloe starts panicking after realizing the ogres are about to hit her with their secret weapon. She thinks that if they do that, she will no longer be able to return to the plant-based diet. Chloe puts up one last fight, but it ends up in vain. The ogres let out their grilled bratwurst slathered with their 5 Wagyu tallow sauce, and Chloe loses her mind when she tastes it. The sauce is so good that she immediately forgets she used to be on a plant-based diet. Meanwhile, Olga is on her way to the throne room with Vaultsmen. Olga is the Dark Queen and the owner of the castle. She is a powerful elf and the pioneer of the plant-based diet on the continent. The only one that could rival her is the 7 Princess Alliance. The alliance comprises 7 princess knights from the 7 nations of the continent. It is led by Celestine, a goddess reincarnated as a high elf, who formed the alliance to counter Olga's wish to keep the plant-based diet away from the hands of commoners. Sadly, all that is no longer her concern, as Olga now faces her biggest enemy and one she overlooked, Vault. He is the mercenary leader who revolted against her, and the leading pioneer of carnivore diet in their continent. When Olga arrives at her throne room, she sees Vault sitting on her throne. She also sees Chloe, who is now fully adapted to the carnivore diet. She feels sorry for her, and at the same time disappointed in her failure to uphold the plant-based diet to the very end. As Chloe gets dragged out of the room, Vault tells Olga that he will save her from the malnutrition she's inflicted on herself, because of her extreme plant-based diet. Vault's men cheer upon hearing the statement, while Olga clenches her fists in irritation. Meanwhile, the ogres, eager to help their queen, slowly close in on Olga. And, fazed with what's going on around her, Olga simply laughs and lets out a smug smirk. She tells Vault that a lowly soldier like him won't be able to break her spirit that easily and steer her away from the path of the plant-based diet. Olga then suddenly summons her staff, which catches the soldiers off guard. She then casts a wide-range magic spell that takes out the ogres that were trying to surround her. In a castle somewhere in the neighboring nation, Princess Alicia slams her fist on the table. She is in disbelief at the news about the carnivore diet going viral. Her sister Prim suddenly gets scared after seeing her reaction. Alicia notices this and immediately apologizes for raising her voice and showing her violent side. She then says she is against the carnivore diet because it can also cause problems for them if the trend reaches their nation. Back at the castle, the ogres surrounding Olga have all fallen to the ground because of the magic the queen unleashed. Vault's men are also startled and scared because they didn't expect the queen to still be able to unleash her powers. However, Olga finds herself fainting on the floor and exhausted after casting her spell. Vault immediately tells her that her sudden weakness is because she lacks protein. He's quick to point out that she can't sustain her magic because her plant-based diet isn't providing her the right amount of energy she needs for it. As a final act of defiance, Olga casts a magical seal on herself to protect her stomach from the corruption of any carnivore diet meal. Vault's wizard sidekick explains what the spell does, but instead of being discouraged, Vault actually looks forward to the challenge. Olga immediately notices her seal draining what little magic she has left. She's now concerned that she won't be able to hold it long enough to endure the dish that Vault has prepared for her. To her surprise, Vault has something else planned for her. The mercenary general rallies his soldiers, saying he'll let them help him change the elf queen's mind. The soldiers rejoice for having the opportunity to let a queen taste their respective homemade dishes they worked hard to prepare that day. The men quickly get Olga ready to receive the meals they've prepared for her. Since he's their leader, Vault gets to dine with the queen first. He serves her his favorite 12-hour smoked beef brisket. Immediately, a part of Olga's seal breaks, and she experiences the full spectrum of flavors of such a complex dish. Vault sees her reaction and is happy about it, especially since he pulled an all-nighter just to get that dish prepared. However, it wasn't enough to break Olga's spirit. She's still confident because as long as her seal isn't fully broken, her stomach will be protected and won't convert to a new diet. Not long after that, Vault's men start getting restless because they also want to let Olga taste the dishes they brought. Some impatient soldiers try to feed Olga their dishes, but she immediately expresses her disgust for them. Olga complains that if they are going to try and feed her, they should at least serve her food fitting of royalty, not the cheap protein shake. When he's done feeding Olga his beef brisket, Vault finally gives way. All the soldiers immediately line up to take turns feeding Olga after that. The Elf Queen can only watch in terror as the number of dishes she has to taste quickly increases. While his soldiers get busy feeding Olga, Vault simply watches from the sidelines and encourages them. He tells them not to be ashamed even if their meals are just homemade. He says the important thing is that Olga gets a taste of a wide range of meat-based meals, so she'll have plenty of options to choose from. Hours of feasting pause, and Olga still managed to keep her spirit from breaking, and it's all thanks to the magical seal she cast earlier. Vault is impressed by her resilience and even praises her for it. Olga tells him that despite all their effort from earlier, she will still stick with her plant-based diet. Vault questions how long Olga will be able to keep talking like that, and prepares for another feeding session. Before starting, Vault asks his wizard sidekick if the preparations are complete. The sidekick immediately starts chanting some ancient magic spell from the ancient carnivore diet notes he found on Reddit. When he finishes the chant, Olga's seal breaks. The Elf Queen panics as she realizes she will no longer have enough strength to resist the carnivore diet. To make matters worse, Vault pulled out the big guns and brought out his 16 ounces, reverse-seared 60-day dry-aged to 5 Wagyu steak. The only thing Olga can do is tell Vault about the advantages of a plant-based diet. However, Vault doesn't listen to her because he knows she desperately needs protein, and simply starts the second round of feeding frenzy. Once again, Vault and his soldiers take turns feeding Olga. They even let Olga enjoy their high-quality Wagyu tallow sauce that Chloe didn't get to finish earlier. With her magical seal gone, Olga no longer has the strength to resist the effects of the carnivore diet. After another several hours of feeding, her defiance ends, and she fully abandons the plant-based diet to be on a carnivore diet. Vault is all smiles, knowing he successfully converted the proud plant-based elf queen and her subject. He now sits on the throne, while Olga and Chloe are beside him, worshipping him as the ultimate carnivore diet guru. He now looks forward to his next goal, spreading his carnivore diet regimen throughout the continent. And guys, please in the end, don't forget to support us with a like for the video and algorithms say you will like these videos.